Hey everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a build guide for the SORCUBUS class in Baldur's Gate 3. This is a mod that was made by the Cheeseman83. With this subclass, there's a ton of unique spells. The cool thing about it is it also adds in some metamagics for you to use and some new versions of command. It actually lets you just throw an enemy that you're facing off against, so you can take all their equipment. Now, you also get a fun spell here called the Pit Fiend, which lets you open a gate to the Nine Hells, and it's just a creature that's going to attack indiscriminately. It'll attack anybody. This mod does have full level 20 support. I'll be taking it to level 20, but I'll also show off the level 12 build too if you just want to go to that level. Now with this, we get a few different choices, or a few different cantrips here with Friends, the Malevolent Whispers, which grants 1d4 bonus to ability checks, advantage on deception checks, and instructing them how to impersonate a bard, paladin, sorcerer, pack fiend, warlock. You also get the Produce Flame, Thaumaturgy, and the Vicious Mockery cantrips, and class features Profane Beauty, which adds your charisma modifier to your armor class, and when any humanoid that can see you and attempts a melee attack must do a wisdom saving throw or become charmed for a turn. And you also get the Inert to Inferno here. Any fire damage you receive is reduced by your charisma modifier. This is a charisma based class. I'd recommend rolling with a stat spread of something like this, although you can put a couple more points into charisma if you wanted to take the Hagsayer. Now at level 2 we get our metamagics here. Now if you're playing a sorcerer as well, you also get access to these fun new choices. So we have ourselves a subversive spell, so allies automatically fail their first saving throw against spells that require them. So for domination purposes, there's also the armed spell. Nope, that's from a different mod. It's actually level 3, we get our next one. Extended spell is honestly a very underrated choice because this actually will proc our gear twice, which is really nice. I also like the distance spell here. You could take the subversive spell if you wanted to. I'm going to take it just because it is for this class. There's also twin spell too, which is pretty crazy on certain spells. Now once we hit level 3, we get more spells here. We get a lot of them. Notable ones being Hold Person, Misty Step, and the Scorching Ray. We also get Fiendish Charm, which lets us charm a humanoid, preventing us from attacking us using a full action. And then here's our suggestive spell. So targets that have charmed automatically fail their first saving throw against spells that require them. This does use 3 sorcery points to use. I still think Quicken Spell is probably the best choice here though. Bonus action spells are just so good. And we also get at level 4 here, another sorcery point, and telepathic command. You can command a creature that has the charm to perform an action. There's a few different ones as mentioned, disrobe being one of them if you want to just take off their clothing. We also again get an ability score improvement here to put up our charisma to 18, or go with the alert feat. +5 to initiative is just so valuable. Level 5, this is when we get our Fiendish form. Evoke the power of your blood to manifest one of the aspects of your Fiendish forebear. You also get Fireball and Glyph of Warding. And right now our Fiendish form has the Dark Vision here, which lets us see in the dark if we wanted to. And level 6 gives us another sorcery point, as well as the Molten Masochism. So whenever you deal fire damage, we apply 2 turns of mental fatigue, which makes the enemies much more likely to get hit with our crowd control spells. Scalding Sadism here, whenever you inflict a disabling condition on a hostile creature, you get 2 turns of heat. Heat will make us take damage and potentially break our concentration, so just be mindful of that. You can also use the Helldesk Armor to prevent the burning condition. Now level 7 we get some Fiendish forms. This is using 5 sorcery points to give ourselves resistance to a damage type until long rest, or fly until long rest. And we also get a ton more spells, and this includes the Grasping Tentacles. Just be mindful that if you're playing on console, you're likely going to have a ton of spells on your spell bar. Unfortunately, you can't really remove it that well. So level 8 gives us another feat here. We can go ahead with like the Warcaster feat. This is always a solid choice to throw on a build like this. I think that adding Charisma modifier works because this is also our armor class. Now, once we get to level 9, we get some domination-based spells with Dominate Person, Planar Bounding, and Hold Monster. We also get the Fiendish form, Physical Resistance, which will give us, with 6 sorcery point cost, all physical damage resistant. Almost like a Barbarian at that point. So that could be nice to prevent some damage. Level 10 gives us the Seductive Gaze. When any humanoid you can see that can see your eyes begins its turn within 9 meters of you, it must make a wisdom saving throw. On failed save, the creature becomes distracted by desire, taking a 1d4 penalty to attack rolls, saving throws, and ability checks until the end of their next turn. So you basically apply Bane onto them. And at this point, we get another Metamagic, which I'd recommend the Twinned spell, which lets us do some pretty crazy stuff on certain spells. Eye Bite autos his Irresistible Dance, and Planar Ally Cambion only are level 11 spells. This gives us a summon. And Chains of Desire. Choose a nearby charmed humanoid that is distracted by desire and force them to make a wisdom saving throw. If they fail, they are enslaved to you and your will until the rest of the day. So it's until long rest. Pretty crazy. So you can fully control a character if they're charmed. Yeah, there's not a lot of class mods, especially on console, that's able to do that. Pretty cool stuff. Now, level 12, if you want to stop here, you get the Carnal Conflagration. Sorry, I've never heard that word before in my life. When you use heat convergence, the fire damage is converted to hellfire, and the target is stricken with infernal burning, cannot regain hit points for a number of turns equal to the number of heat consumed. That is pretty good. Actually giving us a use for the heat convergence, finally. It's not going to feel as bad as it does in other builds. At level 12, I'd recommend grabbing Charisma, increase all the way up to 20 there for our main spellcasting stat. Level 13 gives us another sorcery point, but as we continue to level up, we're going to get some more abilities or sorcery points. As soon as we get to level 16, we get to take another Metamagic here. I guess we'll take the Suggestive Spell here. And then for the next ability score improvement, you could go with a Dex increase or Constitution. And also the Tough Feat can give you additional 40 health if we're going to level 20. And Warcasters being another good choice to help us maintain our concentrations. Level 17, this gives us the Pit Fiend. So open a gate to the 9 hells. It calls for the hostile Pit Fiend to scour life from the mortal plane. So they're just going to run around attacking. Level 18 gives us the Unbreakable Chains. You convince your target to become your thrall, permanently relinquishing their autonomy. Roll a persuasion check contested by the target's insight check. If you succeed, they become your follower permanently. Pretty cool stuff. So you obviously have to take over them and then use the control on them and then make them permanent using that. Level 19 gives us one more feat choice here. So with this, you could go with an armor choice if you wanted to. I think Lucky fits the theme of this. Also, just love the Lucky feat in general. I actually loved it so much. I made a subclass mod called the Lucky Clover Domain Cleric. So if you're on PC, hopefully it'll be on console at some point soon. Check it out. But level 20, we get 4 sorcery points when we finish a short rest. Now, as far as our equipment choices go, I think the Wave Mother's Robe makes sense for its appearance here, so that's what we're going to use. It also gives you resistance to cold damage, and you regain hit points for standing in water. It doesn't really fit the theming of this, but we want to have a clothing option, so like the Potent Robe would be a good choice as well, as the Robe of the Weave's probably the true best one, but it doesn't look the part, so we're going to look the part. Now, I also got the Cloak of Protection to give us an increased armor class, and I also like to throw on the Birthright hat for an increase to our charisma, or the Pyro Quickness hat, which gives us another bonus action, which does benefit us quite a bit. There's also the Fire Acuity hat, which is probably the true best item to throw on here because we could do Scorching Ray, get our spell save DC boost up to +10. It's most overpowered item in the game, really good. But we also got the Helldust Gloves because this gives us fire damage on our melee attacks and better spell casting. Purely just a aesthetic choice for the build. A fun one though is the Crater Flash gloves. If we get critical hits on spell attacks like a Scorching Ray, can be pretty nice. Also Gloves of Dexterity will give us a boost to our armor class, but I just think these ones are fun. Also the Boots of Stormy Clamor, which gives us a +2 to our give a target +2 reverberation if we apply a condition, and that's what this build's all about. We have a solid 21 armor class here, and 24 if we equip a shield. I also would recommend using the Mark of Heshker staff. It's the best staff in the game. It also allows you to get lightning charges on your spells. One thing that I like is the Ring of Mental Inhibition, so this will further stack up mental fatigue on the targets so that we can land our crowd control spells, and the Ring of Protection for a boost to our armor class and Amulet of Greater Health. Hellrider Longbow gives us a +3 to our initiative as well. I probably should have summoned in the Cameo before we got into the fight here, but one of the things is we need to have charms on the enemy before we're actually able to use some of our more powerful abilities on them. So yeah, there's nothing like super unique I can show right at the start here because we don't have anyone charmed to be able to actually cast these spells on. We do have the Fiendish Form upgrades though, which lets us get those physical damage resistances in flight if we wanted it. But yeah, one of our best things we can do is our fire damage spells, unfortunately, because unless I wanted to waste an entire action on charming a target and then my next turn use another action on doing that, we're going to get ourselves wrecked here. So better to let our charm be from weapon attacks. So we're going to go with a fireball here just because it is honestly just one of the better options for damage, and I need to take out spellcasters, so we're going to use that just to target a priority target there, and we got them taken out perfect. So if that didn't, or actually we took out one of them, but we got mental fatigue on the other target there. I guess we could use like Ever's Black Tentacles for a spell here, as we don't really have many others, and that's a spell that doesn't typically get used on builds, but it fits thematically here, so that's going to create difficult terrain, does a little bit of extra damage on the target, and then we can create the Tentacle here. It's another unique spell for this, which will also create the Black Tentacles around it, and with that, it also has the ability to grab and pull enemies in. We're getting a ton of extra enemies. Oh my god, that's not good. Yeah, some classes will actually spawn in a ton of extra cards here. And I guess I'll use Mind Blast here because I got an extra bonus action from that, so that was actually nice to take out another few targets. Unfortunate part with some of the crowd control in the game is sometimes it just makes the enemies just stand here and idle in it to look like they're struggling. I'm not sure why the game does this, but yeah, sometimes whenever you use a spell like this, it ends up lagging like this for a long time. Here we go, Lucky. This feat is amazing. People don't realize how awesome it is because it doesn't use your reaction, so you can use that to protect yourself or not. But at least you didn't end up, yeah, no, we can use Hellish Rebuke, however, as a return fire there. And that also will apply Mental Fatigue. Pretty nice. Now here it's our turn, so I'm going to show off now, because there's less enemies on the battlefield, that we do have an option that we could use with our Fiendish Charm here. So if we use that, we can end up charming a target. He ended up taking thunder damage from our Reverberation, but he's now charmed. This lets us then use the Telepathic Command ability here, which we can use the command spell on the target. And we can also use like the Disrobe or Betray here, which is big middle finger, it's so funny. Or we can use the Chains of Desire here. So we actually have to have this Seductive Gaze passive here, so whenever any humanoid within 9 meters of you and can see you makes a wisdom saving throw when it starts to turn, and on a failed save it gets that Distracted by Desire, so we do have to get that first. So I'll deal with these targets over here with our fire damage, lay down another tentacle over here, and we'll try to do 2, and it only lets us do 1. And we'll come back here and you see that red zone, that's our Seductive Gaze. So you can turn it off, you see the red disappears. And we got the Distracted by Desire there, perfect. So you're just gonna sprint past this. Oops, oh man. Well, that sucks. Oh no, I got myself stuck in my own Ever's Black Tentacle, so we'll try that again. I don't think he's gonna jump closer, so yeah, I'm gonna move myself with a, yeah, perfect, we got him in the zone there. Now he's Distracted by Desire, hopefully he doesn't run past me and get hit with an opportunity attack. That would be bad. Perfect, I can now use this on him if I don't get, oh man. You gotta be kidding me. Okay, we'll try that again, and we'll try to convert him to our side. Woohoo! Yeah, so he's now on our side there. Then you have to use the other action here to actually make him a proper companion there. And you see now he's listed as our summon. So this is pretty cool because now he actually acts as if he were like on our team, and he comes with all his spells. So he does have volley here, which he was beating away at my team with. And now we can use this against the enemies, which is really cool because if you end up grabbing someone with some powerful, unique spells, you get to use them on your character. So yeah, this is pretty funny. They are now a companion on our team. So that is the SORCUBUS Class Mod by the Cheeseman 83. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below if you found this video useful, and I hope you guys all have an incredible day.